Hey everyone, welcome to Real Conservative News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, the Telecommunications Authority of Trinidad and Tobago, as we know it as TATT, has issued a warning that it is actively reviewing recent content aired on local television and will take regulatory action where necessary. Bear in mind, people, under the People's National Movement, under Emperor Rowley, they did so many times, especially targeting Andy Williams and the rest of his crew on the ground report. But remember, PNM can do what they want, but no one else can. So people are condemning now TATT. Rowley is condemning TATT for making this sort of a public statement, official statement, and saying how they are targeting people or some kind of thing like that. Because why? Now, they are saying that he is saying inappropriate statements in public or on television or live television. And the media station, the media host, CNC3, allowed it, aired it. In a release yesterday, TATT said it remains focused on responsible broadcasting and the protection of all citizens from inappropriate content. Now, they use a little different wording. I put the inappropriate instead. Amid public debate over statements made about the Prime Minister by former Prime Minister Keith Rowley, as I call him, Emperor Thanos Rowley. My response: the Kakash media knows very well that the J word, I wouldn't use it either, used by Rowley should never be said on live television. But they allowed it to happen because most, if not all members of the media house despise Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar. And the reason why they despise her even more now, people, is because how she has decided to align herself with America. And not just America, but the Trump administration. And of course, the Trump administration is a conservative-leaning, Christian-leaning administration. They should be held accountable for their actions. I don't know what TATT will end up doing. I know they will all say, the PNM population and the PNM patriots will say, censorship. But of course, they didn't mind when the ground report was taken off the air because they were speaking out against the government. They wouldn't consider that censorship, you know. But nevertheless, time alone will tell what is going to take place when it pertains to this issue. Don't go anywhere. More local, regional, and international news up next. Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar said the United States-operated radar, once based in Tobago, served us well as she addressed concerns over its removal. You see, now they're concerned about it being removed, even though they were concerned just the other day, the tribal jihadists and tribal Trinis here in Trinidad and Tobago. The PNM patriots were concerned about it being there in Tobago. I tell you, it's just about being authors of confusion, you know. Nevertheless, yes, the equipment is now being transferred or moved to the ones, most of it is being moved towards the Middle East, where the operation in Iran, the military operation in Iran continues, and they're trying to secure also the Strait of Hormuz, because the Iranians continue to target civilian ships, commercial ships that are passing through to be able to go and deliver different products, items, oil, and so forth. She said, we are lucky to have it. The time we had it, they need it for their own use, as you know. They're on another front, as I just said, in the Middle East. I don't think she said that though. And they probably need it for that purpose. But it did serve us well, and we thank them very much for it. The opposition People's National Movement has raised concerns over transparency surrounding the radar's installation and removal from the A&R Robinson International Airport site in Tobago. So now they're concerned about the transparency, about the removal, you know, people. I'm telling you, PNM and their patriots are just authors of confusion, and the Kakash media are just authors of confusion. They want transparency about everything and kept quiet, while the PNM had multiple non-disclosure agreements under Emperor Thanos Rowley. Deputy political leader Sanjeev Budu said the country remains unclear on whether the system benefited Trinidad and Tobago or not. Pasabi Sessa said crime strategies are producing results pointing to a drop in killings. My response, I will never stop being amazed by the spiritual blindness of jihadist supporters and tribal Trinis here in Trinidad and Tobago, because of course they're all glad it's gone, even though they're pretending that they're concerned about what took place or how it just ended up going. I said there was never people a zone of peace in our region, because Maduro attempted to annex the Essequibo in Guyana long before the USA decided to arrest him. So how is that called a zone of peace? And people say, well, that is not really the Caribbean, it's South America. Yes, but Guyana is a CARICOM state, and their CARICOM brothers and sisters said nothing about what Maduro was doing. And even if they said anything, they were saying they were just trying to be diplomatic about it, and they condemn whatever is being said or done or whatsoever. But after that, how much did they really do? How much did they really say to support Guyana? And when they talk about zone of peace for the longest while now and trying to support and defend Maduro, why does they didn't raise the issue about how it was he was boldly trying to take away, annex half of Guyana, the entire Essequibo region we're talking about? Turf wars, I wanted to say turf wars, people, has resulted in hundreds of murders throughout the Caribbean annually. Matter of fact, it's thousands, because Jamaica alone is still probably, well, I think it's below 1,000 now, but I don't know. And Trinidad is usually like about 500, 600. It's dropping now because UNC is in office and taking certain measures or whatsoever. So I wanted to say turf wars has resulted in hundreds of murders throughout the Caribbean annually, which also shows clearly that we're not living in a peaceful region. People will say, but that's turf wars. It's still war, people. It's just that there's no war between one country and the other. But turf wars are also still taking lives and endangering the lives of people. And these narco-terrorists on the seas are bringing in drugs and human trafficking. They're committing very serious crimes, which includes human trafficking. The radar system, I went on to say, served a very significant purpose because it was able to detect any incoming aerial attacks from Venezuela, which could have occurred if Maduro decided to punish Prime Minister Kamala Persaud-Sessa for aligning her administration with the United States of America instead of his Communist Party. Don't you realize that it was actually used as a deterrence, people? Because Maduro had to keep wondering, I wonder if it's just a radar system to detect if any missiles might be going into Trinidad, or if they have anything to be able to destroy those missiles and also attack Venezuela. And he knew that the military, the U.S. military officers and military in general are much more superior than his military in Venezuela. And of course, it's being proven right now in Iran. I want to say, now another point is, if you search online, you will also learn that the radar also has limited capabilities to detect any vessels in open waters. As long as it's in an open area, nothing is blocking it, it can detect it, which could have been attempting to enter TNT's waters illegally. Let me read over that part. If you search online, you will also learn that the radar has limited capabilities to detect any vessels in open waters, which could have been attempting to enter TNT's waters illegally. So at the end of the day, people, even though it wasn't actually, it was more made for the air, it could actually detect things at the sea level as well. Why must we pretend to be neutral, even though most of our Caribbean leaders have chosen to demonize the colonials, the so-called colonials, while sympathizing with communists and terrorists, sympathizing with Maduro, sympathizing with Castro, sympathizing with other leaders in the past like Mugabe, and they love Putin and President Xi. These are the individuals that they love, and they don't like the democratic leaders in our nation. Prime Minister Kamala Persaud-Sessa made the right decision to stand with our greatest democratic ally, the United States of America. Trinidad and Tobago's net official foreign reserves totaled US $5.58 billion at the end of February 2026, an increase of 3.9% from the end of December 2025, when the reserves amounted to $5.36 billion, according to data from the central bank website. TNT's net official foreign reserves plunged to a near 20-year low at the end of August last year, when the central bank recorded its holdings of forex exchange at US 4.61 billion. Listen to this, just above the US 4.53 billion reported in March 2006. So people, at the end of the day, you know anything about it is? Mainstream media in the headline said that there was it reduced, it lowered, it slipped. That was the word that they used. They said it slipped. It increased, No, it's not very significant, but remember, at the end of the day, PNM utterly destroyed our economy. And I keep telling PNM patriots this. Your own party members in probably around same time, around August or July or so last year, was asking the government, where are you going to find the funds in order to be able to keep your promises to the people? They knew they left a bankrupt economy for the UNC to salvage. And yet the PNM patriots are now blaming the UNC for the forex shortage. And we all knew that there was a forex shortage all along, people. But at the end of the day, they're going to say, well, it was the lowest in August. It was the lowest in August. So, it has to be UNC. They wouldn't say that it was because the UNC had to try to utilize these funds now in order to recover the economy. And yet watch, in a short space of time, within less than a year, it has already begun its recovery mode. But yet the headline in Kakash media stated that there was a slipper, even though there was an increase. How much more deceptive and vindictive can our mainstream media be?
Trinidad and Tobago weather forecast for Sunday, March 22, 2026. Conditions: the day will be mainly sunny and breezy, with a few early morning showers possible, particularly over Tobago and northern Trinidad. Temperature: highs near 32 degrees Celsius in Piarco, Trinidad, and 30 degrees Celsius at Crown Point, Tobago, with comfortable nights, dropping to approximately 22 degrees Celsius to 23 degrees Celsius. Nighttime, fair and cool, with a low chance of an isolated shower. Wind and sea moderate to fresh easterly winds, creating breezy conditions. Sea conditions are generally moderate, with waves in open waters ranging from 1 to 2 meters. There is a low to medium chance of a heavy shower, especially during the afternoon. A mild to moderate concentration of Saharan dust is likely, so sensitive individuals should take precautions.
Regional news now. Guyana's minister within the office of the Prime Minister, Kwame McCoy, has accused the political opposition of misrepresenting the facts surrounding the Friendship land debacle, which is a dispute between a private landowner and the persons claiming to be occupants of the lands. Is not a state issue. It has nothing to do with the government of Guyana. But of course, those patriots there in Guyana are the same, just like PNM patriots and jihadists here in Trinidad. At no time, as is being claimed by mischievous members of the opposition, has the PPP civic government had any hand in the removal of the squatters on the Friendship land. This mischief coincides with the opposition's divisive strategy, which continues to be part of their playbook, for which they have little rewards, as the majority of Guyanese insist on an approach of unity. PPP Civic Irfan Ali's administration and party won overwhelmingly last year. The minister further stated that the opposition has reintroduced their propaganda surrounding other squatter evictions from private properties such as Hillfoot, among others, solely for the purpose of misrepresenting the facts and promoting division. That's why I say that the political parties, the opposition parties in Guyana, are just like the People's National Movement in Trinidad and Tobago. Days after a devastating fire left Hanover mother Natalie Watson homeless in Jamaica and clinging only to her fate, the outpouring of support has begun to transform despair into hope. Watson, whose story of loss and her plea for a Bible moved readers across the island, is now set to have her modest 2-bedroom board house rebuilt through a coordinated effort involving Hanover charities, a member of parliament, and private sector support. That's what you call being your brother's keeper. I love what I'm seeing taking place in Jamaica when it pertains to that. And of course, even besides that, I honestly like how so a lot of the things that are being said and done by Prime Minister Andrew Holness as well. He appears to be leaning, on the conservative side of politics. He's supporting democracy. He's just not taking a very strong stance like Kamala Persad-Bissessar, our Prime Minister, but he's definitely on the right track.
I am Division Officer Martin Small. This morning around 2 minutes to 9, the Barbados Fire Service Dispatch Center received a call to a structural fire here at Skeets Road. The Barbados Fire Service responded with a total of 3 appliances for the Bridgetown Fire Station, 2 water tenders, and 1 tanker. This fire brings 17 house fires so far for the year, which is of a great concern to the Barbados Fire Service, and we want to urge persons to be mindful of what they're doing while at home. When they're leaving home, make sure they shut down all the appliances, and even when you're at home and you feel tired, please don't engage in cooking or anything like that. A total of 13 officers, including myself, responding to the fire, and 4 occupants have been displaced as a result of this fire. The Barbados Fire Service also would like to inform that 2 persons received burns. They are not life-threatening, but again, this reinforces the need for vigilance and good housekeeping. At present, no fire officers were impacted by the fire, and we want to thank the members of the community who, through their efforts, would have helped to contain this fire from spreading to other structures, and also those persons who alerted the fire service early on so that we could have mitigated the fire and reduce any further fire spread.
Just to confirm, 1 house was damaged and the other was extensively damaged.
Yes,
Sorry, 1 was burned.
None of the houses at present is livable. Both of them have been extensively damaged. We have also reached out to the Reintegration and Rehabilitation Unit. They are on the scene, speaking with some of the occupants to provide some measure of relief to them.
And as far as the cause of it, do you have any idea as to what would have caused the fire?
At present, the officers are still cooling down hot spots, and after there will be some measure of investigation. But at this moment, we can't say exactly what happened to the fire, what caused the fire.
International news now. U.S. Central Command released a new video highlighting the skills of American fighter jet pilots during Operation Epic Fury. Aircraft carrier flight deck covers approximately 4.5 acres. For pilots, it's like landing on a moving postage stamp. Wow. The crew on USS Abraham Lincoln CVN-72 makes launching and recovering jets look routine both day and night. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that wonderful? And it shows the superiority of the American military force. And also, don't get tied up. Israel is right there behind them. The Mossad and the military in Israel is blessed by God Almighty. Yesterday, U.S. President Donald Trump said the radical left Democrats have hurt so many people with their vicious and uncaring ways. And of course, he's 100% correct. What they have done to the Department of Homeland Security, our fantastic TSA officers, and most importantly, the great people of our country, is an absolute disgrace. If the Democrats do not allow for just and proper security at our airports and elsewhere throughout our country, ICE will do the job far better than ever done before. Bear in mind, President Trump isn't encouraging ICE to commit extrajudicial justice. As a matter of fact, he ended up removing an official recently because she was trying to justify criminal acts that took place. And it's not anything that is widespread at this point in time. The Democrats will never protect America, but Republicans will. He's also correct about that. And this is why I'm hoping and praying that Americans will make the right decision in November of this year and ensure that Republicans remain in control of the House and the Senate. Just like the radical left allowed millions of criminals to pour into our country through their ridiculous and dangerous open border policy, the Republicans closed it down. And that's why illegal entry into America now is very minimal. And we now have the strongest border in American history. It was easy to be done, you know. And the Democrats and Biden and his vice president, Kamala Harris, pretended as though they needed to try to find a way to resolve the issue after almost the whole 4 years in the office. The 4-year term in office, they denied that there was a crisis. But you know, it was election time, so they had to end up admitting it because they were trying to get moderate Republicans and stuff like that to vote for them. Likewise, I look forward to moving ICE in on Monday, and I've already told them, get ready, no more waiting, no more games. And you know, when Trump talks, he means it. So Democrats better decide what it is they're going to do right about now. Israel's Defense Force Chief of Staff Zamir confirms in a statement Iran launched a 2-stage intercontinental ballistic missile with a range of 4,000 kilometers towards an American target on Diego Garcia Island. So it's no more longer just about assumption, people. It has been proven. Trump was right once again. The missiles are not intended to hit Israel. Their range reaches European capitals. Berlin, Paris, and Rome are all within direct threat range. So when people were just saying that it's all Iran only targeting people who are invading them, no, they're not. They're not just targeting Israel. They are targeting their own allies and all, even in the Arab states like Qatar and so forth. And also now they seem as though their intentions have expanded to target European nations. And you know, the thing about it is, most of the European nations don't even support Donald Trump. But you know, people here in Trinidad and Tobago and throughout the Caribbean will continue to defend these radical jihadist terrorists in the Ayatollah regime. The Israeli Defense Force struck a strategic research and development facility utilized by the Iranian terror regime to develop nuclear weapons components in Tehran. As part of the waves of strikes completed recently in Tehran, the Israeli Air Force, acting on precise IDF intelligence, struck a strategic research and development facility belonging to the Iranian military industries and the ballistic missiles array. The Malek Ashtar University facility was utilized by the Iranian terror regime's military industries and ballistic missiles array to develop nuclear weapons and components and weapons. That, people, is on a whole different level of problems, of issues, of danger. And this is why Trump and even Benjamin Netanyahu have been saying for the longest while we need to take this military action, because Iran was preparing to commit some very serious acts that could have caused a lot of devastation around the world. Now for the interesting fact segment, in Memphis, a loyal dog named Hank showed incredible determination and love. After escaping his foster home, he walked nearly 11 miles over 2 days to return to the woman who had once cared for him. Dogs have an amazing ability to track scents over long distances, sometimes up to 20 kilometers in ideal conditions. Hank's journey highlights the deep emotional bonds animals form with humans. Stories like this remind us that loyalty and connection aren't just human traits, they're powerfully alive in our pets too. And that is why I continue to believe, I strongly believe, that animals have living souls. They don't just act on instinct. They show too much emotion. They show too much love and compassion to be put performing or acting on instinct. What I wonder is, the person that the dog went back to, was it the original owner that gave up the animal in the first place, or was it someone that was taking care of the animal, of the dog, until a home was found for him or her? Well, for him, I believe it is a hank, so it had to be a male. So I'm assuming that, because I believe that's what they do a lot of the times in America. Sometimes while they're looking for a home for the pet, someone will be taking care of the animal in the meantime, and maybe the dog developed a relationship with that person. I don't know if it was the original owner who gave up the animal to begin with. That kind of is sad, though, you know. I hope that the owner realized, wow, this dog really did love me a lot. Left the foster home to come back to you.
Welcome to Real Conservative News Travel Adventures. Zurich, Switzerland's largest city and financial hub, seamlessly blends historic charm with modern urban flair on the shores of Lake Zurich. Renowned for its high quality of life, this compact metropolis offers top-tier museums, diverse nightlife and scenic alpine views, all easily explored via efficient public transport and walking. Key highlights and top attractions: Old Town, Altstadt to explore medieval narrow streets, cafes and shops, particularly in the Niederdorf district. Lake Zurich and Limmat River, enjoy boat trips, lakeside promenades and Batis River/lake swimming spots that turn into bustling bars at night. Bahnhofstrasse, one of the world's most exclusive shopping avenues, linking the main train station to the lake. Join us again tomorrow as we continue to travel to places around the world together in 60 seconds.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news report. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.